Good evening, everybody. I know you're shocked to see me after dark, but it is me. I'm here. Just while we're waiting for our chat to pop up, I'll remind you, my name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel, I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit the subscribe button. Now, good morning, good evening, Malta. Good evening, Nargis, the dentist, Martha. Hey, everybody. You see this lovely lady to my, what is she? To my left, to my right. I can't tell because I'm backward over here. On the screen with me, this is Athena Moberg from cptsdfoundation.org, from Trauma Recovery University. Athena, tell everybody who you are, what you're all about. Fill them in.
Thanks. Thank you so much for having me. This is super exciting. Well, my name's Athena, and for about 4 years now, I've been sort of showing up online and sharing just from a lived experience perspective and just from the research that I've done. I've been researching abuse and healing from abuse for about 18 years now. And I have a YouTube channel, and similar to Angie, I have some Facebook groups, and then I also have what I recently started doing is hosting daily calls for complex trauma survivors, and everybody shows up from wherever they happen to be in the world, and we sort of have conversations similar to the ones that you have on Angie's channel. We talk about complex trauma. We heal from complex trauma. If you were in a narcissistically abusive relationship for any period of time, then chances are you have some symptoms of complex trauma. You're sort of unsure of who you are. You feel a little bit disconnected from the world. Other people were getting their needs met at your own expense. It caused you to not really know how to show up in relationships. Perhaps your finances are being affected. Your relationship with your children or your spouse, your job, or whether or not you're able to be employed, your issues that you may have with money, or even spiritually, like different spiritual practices are something that were sort of robbed from you because there was a spiritual aspect to perhaps the abuse that you went through. And I mean, the different levels and types of abuse that are involved in complex trauma, as you know, just from being on this channel, they don't happen in a vacuum. They often come in 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s, and oftentimes there's sexual abuse. Oftentimes there's psychological abuse and verbal abuse and physical abuse. And we talk about all of that, and we have different topics every single day, 365 days a year, even on Christmas. And we all just show up and support one another. Each call is 45 minutes, and it's really just become something I'm so passionate about. It's like my life's work, and I'm really excited about it. Excited to be doing closed captioning here on Angie's channel, something I really believe in, just the work she's doing, and I'm just grateful to be here. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Thanks, Angie.
My pleasure. And I want you all to know, some people in the world are real, and this lady right here is one of those people. She's amazing. And if you haven't already, please go over and subscribe to her channel. When we're finished here, I'll make sure that I have a link at the end of this video when it's reposted. And until then, you can type in Trauma Recovery University and you'll find her, correct?
Yes, on YouTube. On YouTube, you'll find me there. Everywhere else, I'm kind of like on Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram, you would type in mostly Athena. Yeah. Sort of a nod to the DID community where you know, one of the things about complex trauma, if you're living with any type of PTSD, you know that complex trauma is unique in that there's a dissociative factor to it. There's a lot of dissociation that goes along. We sort of dissociate from our feelings, or when we were children and if there was abuse going on in our families, then dissociation saved our lives. Our brains protected us. And so that can cause fragmentation. That can cause you to have all these younger parts of you that sort of show up whenever they want. And all that is unprocessed trauma, unprocessed childhood trauma. So whenever you hear people online or on the interwebs speaking of parts work or internal family systems or, you know, younger parts or their inner children or whatever, it really is just simply unprocessed childhood trauma. That's all it is.
Yep.
And I really want to normalize that. And I really seek to diminish the stigma of dissociation and DDNOS and DID and complex PTSD and just all these things that, you know, we happen to be reading about and learning about and studying and researching just so we can feel better. So I want to, you know, I want to normalize that and help people know that they're not weird and crazy and unfixable. You know, it's not anything that's wrong with you. You don't have to be fixed. You're not broken. It's what happened to you. And you were traumatized and you can heal.
Absolutely. And we're working together on several projects we'll talk about at the end of this stream tonight and kind of fill you in on some of that stuff. But let's just jump right into the questions. We've already got them coming. What are you saying, Athena? Sound good? Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm going to turn you up a little bit just because I want to make sure I can hear the questions.
Is this better? Can you hear me better now?
I'm good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we have, I'm just going to say hi to a few more people. Martha Ross, X-Dude, Angela M, welcome. Rose Hargrove, hello, hello. Jillian, hello. Hooray, Surf Smurf, X-Dude again. Hey, nice to see you too. Poppy's Mission, Just Be Real, Teresa Christie, Kit Kat, great surprise. Yes, indeed, my friend. Felicia, Malta, Luna, Jody. Okay. Here we go. Jen Archer. Hello.
I don't see all the people. I need to find a way to see all the people, but is that Malta McMurtry?
Yes.
Hey, Malta. I recognize your name.
We love him. Yes. Okay. And let's see. Desi Pink is here. Thank you. Thank you. And Maura. Hello, Maura. Maura, Jillian, and Malta from the Mod Squad tonight. Welcome, y'all. All right. And Life Survival loves us both. Great to see us, she said. Valerie Rodriguez, Maritza. Hello, hello. Luna C. I already said that. Hello. She says goodbye to Desi. Desi has to go. Dennis says, Athena, what's your Facebook page name again? Dennis wants to know.
Oh, Mostly Athena.
Mostly Athena. Okay. Surf Smurf is listening, but not chatting because she has to work. Nicole B. Hello. Martha says, Athena, I just subscribed to your channel. Awesome. Yay. Awesome. Amethyst thanks us both for the live stream. Oh, we have Maddie from the Mod Squad too. We have 4 from the Mod Squad tonight, y'all. We are blessed. Thank you, Miss Maddie, for being here. And let's see, Jen Archer, Felicia. Okay, yes, Span folks are here. I know several off the top of my head from the SPANily in the house tonight. And Tamara Lynn says hello to Malta, long time no see. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, Eminem. Okay. All right, guys, we're jumping into the questions. Here we go. We have Kit Kat who says, why would the ex-narc text me pictures of us together from when we dated as teens? No note, no explanation, just messing with my mind. But it's a new tactic from him. I wish he would just leave me be. Okay. So Athena, just so you know, Kit Kat has been with us since before she left this person. So she started with us when she was still in the relationship. We helped and came along with her on her journey from there until here where she's divorced and she's now starting her new life. Her narcissist has moved on to a new supply. And now suddenly he sent her some pictures from when they were dating as teens. So I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in here and then I would love to hear your thoughts. My 2 cents, girl, he is hoovering. So listen. What you do is you ignore those pictures. Did you respond to them, Kit Kat? If you did, just stop now unless you responded in a way that was like, oh, that's very interesting. Otherwise, just let it go. Don't say anything else. If you didn't, good for you. Don't allow him to get inside your head. That is a game he is playing. He is trying to make you doubt yourself, make you remember the good times, whatever. Either he's going to suck you back in or attempt to, or he's trying to do something inappropriate or underhanded. Either way, guard up, gray rock, no play. They have children together. That's why she has to continue to deal with him, just so you know. Okay, go ahead, Athena. What are your thoughts?
Oh, it's interesting that you are attempting to co-parent, which there is no such thing. I know that Angie's a strong believer in that.
Yes, yeah. She knows it. She parallel parents.
Hilarious that it's like the weird, awkward, like text with no explanation. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that this is This is textbook. This is what they do. It's either the picture with no caption or no words, or it's like a weird, like out of nowhere, like you haven't talked to them in years, and you get they'll text you and say, "Hey," like cricket, like it's been years, and you get, "Hey," or "What's up?" Or just random. If you ever catch yourself going, "Who does that?" Then just, that is your key to just be like, whew. You just breathe in the Zen and just like gather your composure and be like, gray rocket all the way. That's all I have to say. Honestly, the reason he's doing it is, I will tell you this. I have been raised by a long line of very malignant, sociopathic, psychopathic, malicious, sadistic, Machiavellian, antisocial, abusive, cannibalistic narcissists. And their favorite thing to do is just to see the look on your face change. Just a simple, all you do is raise an eyebrow, or you glance, or they startle you, or your facial expression changes from one of happiness to like confusion. Boom, that's all they need for supply. That's it. It's like one of their favorite modes of supply. It's like their favorite. So all this is just a Hoover tactic, like Angie said. I would say, like, seriously, don't respond unless you already did. And then honestly, just like move on and like act like it never happened. You know that there's going to be manipulation going on. I would seriously just not even let it faze you. Just know that you're amazing, and nothing that this person is going to send you or say to you or hoover you, or no tactic is going to change who you are and how amazing you are.
That's right.
So that's what I have to say.
Absolutely. And Valerie Rodriguez says, "I'm going crazy. He leaves and comes back constantly playing with my head, then gets his whole family involved and starts calling me crazy when I call him more than once. I don't know what to do. I have a restraining order already." Don't call him unless you have children with him and no choice but to call him. Don't call him. Consider blocking him. Do your very best to put, an end to your connection to him. And if you do have children together and you have no choice but to deal with him, let him, if he is going to slack on his duties as a parent, get to the point where you simply do not count on him to show up, and make it easy for him. And that sounds really counterintuitive, but the effect he's going to have on your children is going to be negative. And the less time that they spend with him, ultimately, I'm just saying, use your best judgment. But what are your thoughts, Athena?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Anytime they bait you and then they vilify you, it's never going to end. Right. It's never going to improve. Nothing good can come out of it. The best possible solution is to not call, because they will always flip the script on you. They will bait you and then make you look like the crazy one. That's what they love to do.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Hello, Shastina. It's good to see you, my friend. Jen Archer. Oh, you're so sweet. I love how this SPANily like really supports each other. You see it in the comments as they're talking to each other while we're talking with them. It's a beautiful thing. I just want to point that out. Thank you guys for being such a great community. It's amazing. Okay. So we have Kit Kat saying, "How do I prevent being a pawn of triangulation to his new supply? I feel like he's using communication with me to make her insecure. I'm extreme low contact, but I'm getting a weird feeling." You're getting that feeling because you know that man, and you know that's what he's doing. Probably because on some level he did a similar thing with you, whether it was an old supplier, somebody at work, or something to make you feel insecure about yourself. My guess is it's not all rosy over in Narc world right now. So if I'm you, I would think about how you would want to have that person respond and respond thusly. We've talked before about how she's probably a perfectly nice person, because narcissists sometimes, mostly, don't go for people like themselves. They go for people like us who are empathic and nice and kind and loving and too caring and too giving sometimes. And so what I would suggest to you is that if you do feel really uncomfortable about it, maybe you reach out to her directly. But if that's not an option, then I would simply, like we said, gray rock, do not allow him to, to do anything that would directly affect you. But as far as it goes with her, you can't prevent what he's doing to her. You can attempt to let her know that, hey, I'm not a threat to you or whatever, but I don't really see the purpose in that unless you're worried about your children, in which case I kind of get it. So if it's about the kids and you're worried about them and their safety and everything else, then I would say to her separately, this is, I'm not a threat to you, and in whatever way is appropriate to do that. If it's not, and see, that could even be taken the wrong way, to be honest with you. So I would almost just say gray rocket, period. You want to help the other person, but you can't always do that. I would say don't allow him to by not responding to these little stupid attempts, like him sending pictures of you guys as teenagers dating. You know what I'm saying? Athena, what are your thoughts?
Is this the same?
This is the Kit Kat from earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would just gray rocket all the way and know that, interestingly, I was in a similar situation about 20 years ago with my son's dad. And he does have highly pronounced narcissistic traits. And I tried to warn her. This is before the term narcissistic abuse, or if it was a thing, I didn't know about it. You had a library card. There were no cell phones. Like, this is 20 years ago. So I did try to warn her. And I remember saying something along the lines of, you deserve so much better than this. And it blew up in my face. We ended up getting in a fist fight. More like that talk. Yeah. Like she ended up punching me, and I ended up, like, I think I punched her. I don't know. It was like,
why, right? I mean, why that went wrong now.
What?
Why it went wrong when you told her?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I just didn't know anything about anything. And I was 20. I mean, or, I was 20 something years old, and it was, I mean, it might have even been 23 years ago. Like, it was now we're the best of friends. Like, and he left me for her. He ended up leaving her for someone else. And I mean, like, and now she knows that, and we're friends, and she comes here I live in Hawaii. She comes to Hawaii, and, like, we hang out and go have, appetizers together, but yeah, I mean, I would just gray rocket all the way. I mean,
right.
There's no way you can help her. There's no way. It'll blow up in your face.
Well, and she knows that. She does. And that's why she's asking this question, because the fact is her situation, just like anybody's, I guess, but with her ex getting with this new supply, this person's seeing her children. And so I don't know if they've ever actually communicated, though. I know she's communicated with him about her, but it's been very vague as far as I understand. So, and I don't think she's met her unless that's changed recently. But yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And I've even made entire videos about why you shouldn't contact the new supply, but her situation is just a tiny bit different. And because it's been an ongoing thing and because the kids are involved. So sometimes I recommend to people, when they are already established with the new supply, if your kids are going to see that person, that maybe you invite them out for coffee and say, let's just talk about my kids, because you want to look in that person's eyes if you can, and see, okay, this person's not going to do horrible things to my child. I was lucky I didn't have to deal with a stepmother in my situation, because my ex-husband just fell off the planet and didn't father at all. And that's okay. You know what I mean? It turned out to be okay for me. But it was something that I think it was a blessing in disguise at the time. But her situation is not like that. And her children were older when they split up. So there's, a different dynamic there. So sometimes 99% of the time I agree, never, ever approach the new supply. But there are certain cases where I think it can be valuable, but only in respect of not relationship wise and not trying to explain the person or warn the person, but just to be able to go, okay, let's talk about the kids. Because that's a real thing.
Yeah, I wish I would have known then what I know now, because I would have taken that approach. I really would have. I never would have mentioned anything. And I would have kept it, only about my son. And I mean, it is helpful to mention at the time that all this went down that I described, like he was withholding child support on purpose. He would show up unannounced and tell me, he would send her the new supply to show up unannounced and to pick up my son to go to a birthday party in the midst of like, we're having dinner and like unannounced. And if I didn't allow him to leave with her, he would withhold the child support. And I was just like, what kind of a person does that? Like, I need money for diapers, like it was crazy. But I wish I would have known then what I know now. And I agree with Angie that, communicating with the new person about the children and just making sure that you both have the same heart for these children and that the children are a priority and that's the only focus you have. And that's probably the only way that it would be helpful.
Absolutely. And I want to add another thing. I think it's very sensitive of you to recognize what he's doing here by trying to use you to triangulate her and get her emotions all over the place. So the fact that you've recognized that is it speaks volumes about your own like ability to kind of tune in and see what's going on, your own empathicness, empathy. And so kudos to you for that, my friend. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, Poppy's Mission is an amazing mod over at Trauma Recovery University during Athena's weekly sessions. Awesome. Hello, Poppy. Okay.
Hi.
Thank you, Malta. We love us some Malta. Okay. Yeah. Jen, Kit Kat cannot do full no contact because of the fact that she has children with these people. That's why she's only extreme low contact. Okay. Valerie Rodriguez, he doesn't care. Okay. Hello, Pam Hall, Cheryl. Yeah, no contact is the only way you can think of, but of course, Luna, in a situation, she has to have a small amount of contact because they share children, even though she's very well aware that co-parenting is not a thing with a narcissist. It's always about the parallel parenting at this point, but we're not going to get into all that right now. Okay. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Kit Kat, step away. She knows, girl. She knows. Okay. Karen, hello. Pam Hall is sharing. Thank you, Pam Hall. Hello, ICI. Hello, hello. Cool name. Sharon Wilson says hello. Hello, Karen. Butterfly Mama in the house. Hey, girl. Hey. And let's see. Mora says to Kit Kat, probably you're right. Unfortunately, you can't prevent anything he does, but you can block him. Use one of those parenting apps. That's always a thought. I have a video called 7 court-approved parenting apps. I think it's called something like that if you want to check it out. Chestina, Casey is here. Tamara Lynn says, Malta, does she have a podcast as well? You do, don't you, Athena, have a podcast?
I don't have a podcast on iTunes right now, even though I was supposed to. I don't yet. Okay. I am starting the Complex Trauma podcast, and it will be available on iTunes probably towards the end of 2018. But for right now, I have a weekly podcast on YouTube, which is live Q&A every single Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And it's just Q&A just like this.
There you go. Right on. Make sure you subscribe, y'all. Okay, then we have, let's see here. Johnny Blaze. Hello, very cool name. No more evil. Hello. Let's see. I feel like Felicia might be going through some hoovering. Let's see. Malta Rose says hello. Rodrigo is here. Skylight at Dusk. Hello. Goodness, we have a good full crowd tonight. 111 at the moment. Still Prill, Miss Beach Boxer. Everybody's really excited to see both of us together. Yeah, see? Stacy in the house. Andrea Saunders. Hey, girl. How are you doing? Okay, let's see. Poppy's Mission says, Malta, thanks for the love. Right back at ya. Kit Kat says, the healing is so tricky, but I do see how the small acts of kindness to myself have layered on top of themselves, creating a firm foundation where shifting quicksand once was. It's great. Every time Kit Kat comes into my stream, she makes my heart smile. Well, I love you. That's good stuff. Good stuff. That's exactly how you want to be going, girl. That's it right there. Okay. Maddie DeLuca says, more DeLuca says, Mod Squad represent in the house. Okay. Valerie says, yes, we love the Mod Squad, don't we? Okay. Malta named them the Mod Squad. He was the original Mod Squatter. And then we had to kind of expand a little because he had a life outside of me, unfortunately. I'm just kidding. That was fortunate.
Poppy, Matt, and Shannon are my mod squad.
See, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh,
Beautiful
yeah.
thing. Yes. All right, let's see here. Valerie Rodriguez says, I'm ignoring my narcissist and pretending to have a new partner on social media, hoping it will push him away to another supply. Valerie, I think that I see what you're doing there, but I'm just saying, like, block him. Why play games with him? I get where you're, I get it. Trust me, I get it. But what's the, when you tell a narcissist, you cannot have this, what do you think they want? Well, let me just ask you another question. When you tell a toddler, here's the cookie, don't touch the cookie, what does the toddler want? It's the same thing. The narcissist wants whatever you say they can't have. So if you're showing yourself to the narcissist, pretending you to be with a new supply, you get ready for the Hoover because it's coming. I promise you. So if I'm you, I would just go dark. I would block that person. I would go dark and be done. Athena, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know much about you and your situation or how old you are, but once you get to be old, like me, in your 40s, I'm going to be 45 this year, and that's not like OLD old, but I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I mean, that's totally young, but anyway, go ahead.
Like, I could see doing something like that. I remember just my thought process. I would probably have been in that place like in my 20s, understandably, because you just have unlimited amounts of energy and possibilities when you're in your 20s. And it almost seems worth it because you just want to hurt them as much as they've hurt you. But I can honestly tell you, just from the core of my being, just from my heart, that you deserve to protect your emotional energy. You only have so much, even though it feels unlimited. When we pretend or we play the game, and it only distracts us from our purpose in life and really coming into our own identity, which is, I mean, we're beautiful individuals. We're uniquely gifted, and we have unlimited possibilities of what we can do in the world and the lives we can change and the people we can help. And if we allow ourselves to be distracted by these abusive people, and we are kind of trying to maybe doing this, and I'm not assuming to know your angle or your motive behind wanting to be with someone else. Maybe it's because you think that maybe they'll just leave you alone, but it's not going to have that type of effect. It's going to make them Hoover you. And even though the Hoover, you guys, this is tricky because the Hoover feels good for a minute, like half a minute, the Hoover feels good. And you're like, they care. And then you're just like, oh, but they care. And that's not what I want. That's not the type of attention that I want to attract in my life anymore. Like, I deserve healthy attention and healthy individuals. And so I would pour any energy that I had going in that direction of pretending that I had this new person in my life or whatever. And I would pour that into a new hobby, or creating art or painting or learning how to sing or play an instrument or pottery or like drawing, or even, like mandalas or whatever those things are, or anything that feeds your soul. If it doesn't feed your soul, don't pour any energy into it. That's just my own advice, even though I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but seriously, like, you deserve better.
It's a great time to get a passion project. You're totally right. Something that drives you, something you would do, just because it feels good to you, whatever that is. All of those things are great points. And the other thing I would point out to you is that they care. Okay. You know what they care about, don't you? They care about how you make them feel, what you do for them. If any of you are still in a relationship with a narcissist, or you were once and you asked this question, the question is, what do you love about me? If they say to you, oh, I love the way you rub my back. I love the way you take care of our house and the way you take care of our kids. And I like how you pay all the bills and I don't have to worry about it. And I like how you make me look good when you hang on my arm, girl, whatever, or guy, whatever. That's bad because they didn't really say anything about you. They said about things that you do for them. You know what I'm saying? So focus on that's really, I think, a true test of any relationship, when you're at the point where you can say to a person, what do you really like about me? Or what do you love about me? Here are some things I love about you. And they can't say one thing that's really about you. That's a problem. They can't say, I love that you're so intelligent and that you're such a great conversationalist. And I love that, you're so whatever, beautiful or handsome, or you're so whatever's a quality about yourself. When they're talking, go ahead.
Or how much, like for Angie, if I were telling you like what I love about you, I wouldn't talk about the things you do for me. I love you, Angie, because you invite me onto your YouTube channel. Like that's when you know you have a toxic friend, right? But if I were speaking to Angie and Angie were to say, what do you love about me? I would say, I love the heart you have for so many people that are hurting. I love that you create communities for people to feel accepted and loved unconditionally. And I love how much of you give of yourself just unconditionally to so many people. You offer free coaching to so many people that don't have the resources. You give of yourself so freely. You spend your time and your energy researching about things that people don't have time to research. And then you distill the information down into these bites that we can consume and that fill us up and help us to become all we're meant to be. Like those are things that you want to hear from someone that cares about you. You don't want to hear what you do for them is what they love.
That's a great way to put it. And thank you, by the way. That's amazing. Thank you.
But you're all true.
It was really a great example, because that's exactly the kind of thing. Like if Athena were to say to me, I like that you invite me on your YouTube channel, or that you told all those people to subscribe or whatever, it's irrelevant, because that is about her and not about me. And so thank you for that. And thank you for all of those really lovely, wonderful things that you said. That means
you're welcome. Frenemies are real, you all. I mean, frenemies are a thing. And, you really want to, I know that a lot of this is about interpersonal romantic relationships that we talk about on Angie's channel, but, you're going to have that boss.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have that coworker, and you're going to have that cousin or that neighbor or the person that is in your in your Bible study, or the person who volunteers at the shelter with you, or someone who, volunteered with you on that, Habitat for Humanity project. You think that you run in these altruistic circles, or that you're sort of safe, depending on where you're at and where you spend your time, but you're really not. Like there are toxic people everywhere. And knowing those characteristics, checking in with yourself if there's reciprocity in the relationship. That's always a good litmus test. Is there reciprocity in this relationship? Does the relationship go two ways? And I just feel like I feel so strongly about that. And it's important to guard ourselves, right, Angie? Like not in a hypervigilant way, but just to be mindful of like how we feel in a relationship with other people.
Absolutely the truth. Yes. Absolutely.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did I interrupt? I think I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
I don't think you did. That seems right. No, we're good. It's a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So we have Felicia, and she asked this question a while ago, and I just kind of noticed people responding. Jen, thank you, responding to her. And I just wanted to touch it really quickly. She said, why do they call numerous times back to back? And Jen says, hoovering maybe. Yes. And she says he is Jen. When he calls, he'll do so four to six times in a row. So Felicia, I would say that in that case, yeah, he's probably trying to get your attention. He's probably not liking the fact that you won't answer the phone. Hold out, because obviously, if you continue to not answer, he'll eventually stop, and eventually he'll get bored and move on. That's how Gray Rock works. So good for you for holding out. You're right. I think he's either trying to hoover you or trying to get your attention for whatever purpose he wants you still in his life. Hoovering is that. Sometimes hoovering is love bombing. Sometimes it's, oh my gosh, I have drama, I need your help. It comes in different forms. Don't forget. Athena, thoughts?
Anyone who psychodials you, and I know that that's probably a very derogatory term to say on a mental health channel, and I don't mean psycho as in something psychologically wrong with you, but like the term psychodialing, you are doing something repetitively without concern for the other person.
Yes.
Even that people dial us 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 times in a row, if it's not an emergency and someone didn't die, There's always that. Is someone dead? Are you on fire or dying? Okay, you're not. So then the only other option is that they don't care about your schedule. They don't care about what you're doing. It's all about them in that moment. And that's just a perfect example of another way that it's always all about them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes.
Anyone who does that. You meet a new friend. You meet a new friend and you become friends and you guys meet up for coffee or whatever. And then you hit it off having coffee. And then next thing you know, like she sends you 12 text messages the next day, or she begins texting you good morning, and then all of a sudden she calls and there's like 6 missed calls. You kind of know at that point that perhaps this person might need more from you than you are capable of giving. And there's nothing wrong with setting some healthy boundaries in those types of friendships. And it's painful to set healthy boundaries. It's not comfortable, but it's always for our best interest. It's for everyone's best interest.
Yes. Not comfortable, but worth it. Always. Yes, yeah. Totally. And I think that it's hard, for me, when someone identified for me, okay, it's going to be a little uncomfortable. That was really profound for me because I was avoiding uncomfortable a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'll tolerate this person continuing to abuse me for 20 years because, hey, it's uncomfortable to tell them to stop. Like, what kind of logic did I have? You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. But when you see it, like, I think it was Maya Angelou who said, when you know better, you do better. You got to forgive yourself for the things you didn't know when you didn't know them. Yep. That's how I have to go. All right. Now this is interesting. Skylight at Dusk just said this in chat earlier, and I think I just got it when I read this comment. He says to Lunacy, he says, "Hi, I only just got your name when she read it out loud. I didn't even get it until I read your comment, my friends. Thank you."
Hi, Luna.
Yes.
Hi, Skylight.
Right on. See, I'm glad you guys are here. Okay. Eva says, hello there. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you, my friend. And Felicia, yes. Okay. Nargis, hello, sister. How are you? She says, I have a question. I don't know how to word them. How can a narc abuse survivor be able to work and not let other toxic team members get to them emotionally and mentally? They're bullying and bossing. Okay, Nargis, that is a really great question. This is when it's so important for you to put up those boundaries we were talking about. And have your deal breakers in place for those people, right? So if you're working with them, you have no choice but to work with them. What you don't do is you don't give them your emotions. You don't react to their BS. You don't react to their abuse. If they're abusing you directly and you can go to the HR department, do that, girl. But if they're just being a little snippy and they're being a little difficult and they're triggering you because of the horrible abuse, and Nargis has been through horrible abuse. Horrible. If you're going through that level, if it's just triggering you because of what you've gone through, continue to go to any kind of therapy that's available to you, or coaching, or one of the other programs that you can be involved with. But also boundaries. Don't let them get inside your head, and let them know they can't get inside your head by not reacting ever emotionally, at least not where they can physically see you reacting. Does that make sense? Athena, do you have thoughts about working with a narcissist?
Yes. 2 words come to mind: self-preservation. If you are working with a narcissistic person, a person with highly pronounced narcissistic traits, remember, it's never our job to diagnose. It's only our job to exist and to preserve our sanity. And so if you're working with this person, let's say, I'm going to give 2 examples. One will be, you're in charge of a project. You're the person that is sort of in charge of a project, and the people that have the pronounced narcissistically abusive traits, pronounced narcissistic traits, happen to be people that you're working on a project with, but you're in charge of the project. Then it would be delegate, delegate, delegate. And you're unemotional, unemotional, unemotional. Just like Angie always says, gray rock, gray rock. So the way to practice self-preservation if you're in charge of a project is to delegate. And you find strengths in people. You ask them what it is that they're passionate about. You notice certain strengths in people, things that they sort of thrive in a certain environment, or they really enjoy certain things. So you put them in charge of those things. If you're a person that's working on a project in a work environment and you're not the one in charge, and you report to someone who happens to be someone with highly pronounced narcissistic traits, then you don't offer, this is a trap. This is one of the traps that we fall into. Many of us fall into them. If you've ever fallen into this trap, there's no shame. There's no shame about falling into a trap like this. We sometimes have a tendency to offer. We become psychic and we think that we need to figure out and guess as we're walking on the eggshells. We need to guess what it is that they want and how to do it the best, better than anybody else, because we think that if we do it good enough, they're going to like us and they're going to abuse us less. That's a trap. That never is the truth, ever, ever, ever. So the way you practice self-preservation, if you're not in charge of the project, is you only do what's asked of you and you do it well. There's not a lot of talking. You can collaborate with people that you don't find triggering and that you don't find to have abusive traits, but self-preservation is going to be the key, whether you're in charge of the project on a team or whether you're reporting to someone who happens to be maybe the person that you want to, protect yourself from. Angie, does that make sense? How do you feel about that?
I totally agree with you. And the only thing I would add is a survival tip. And that is, if you are in a situation where like somebody's emailing you assignments or you're using any sort of communication system, always copy other people, ideally people above yourself. So if, the person's your boss, then you copy that person and, blind copy another person in the office that you either are subordinate to or that you trust as a backup. And if you are that person's superior, then you blind copy your superior, or you blind copy another manager or whatever. Always have someone else in the loop. And sometimes you don't even want to blind copy. If there's no reason that you shouldn't copy another person, then copy that person on the email or any other sort of, take screenshots, keep records of what you've done, because some narcissists in the office, if they decide they don't like you for whatever reason, they play games and they try to twist things. But that's why communicating and writing as much as possible, and always, when possible, copying another person, especially a superior, but even an equal if necessary, just to have another person in the loop so they can try to gaslight you and change things and twist things.
You brought up something, what you just said brought up a memory of a situation that I was in with a family member of mine. I would CC my husband on every single email correspondence, but their tactic is always to isolate you. Yeah. If they can isolate you, they can gaslight you. Yes. Isolation equals gaslighting, period. So what Angie's saying about CCing someone, sometimes that's all it takes, you guys, to disarm these people. Sometimes a CC on an email is all it takes. They move on to another target. They move on to another target that doesn't CC. I CC'd my husband on every email correspondence, and you want to know what they would do? They would respond and delete my husband off of the email. So I would respond and CC my husband on it and say, I would appreciate in the future if you would not delete my husband off of our email correspondence. Yeah, that didn't go well. They never responded to that, ever. Again, they moved on. Go figure. So sometimes, I couldn't agree more with what Angie said. That is like one of the best weapons in our arsenal, especially if it's not a face-to-face interaction. Yes. If it's an email interaction with anyone that you believe to be toxic, you CC someone else. You always have proof. Always have someone else, because they like to isolate you. They want to isolate you. They want to mess with your head. Yeah. That's all 100%. They do.
Yep. Absolutely. Totally agree. Nargis, let us know if you have any other questions about that. All right. Let's see. Now, this is an interesting question. Amanda says, I cannot get rid of my narcissist. He will not leave my house. Okay, Amanda. Start the eviction process. That's what you're going to have to do. If he's someone who doesn't have any legal right to live there, he's lived there less than 90 days. And in my state, if a person's lived in your house for 90 days, they have legal residence. If they receive mail, they have legal residence. If there is legal residence, you have to go through the process of eviction. So find out what that deal is in your state, get your butt busy and start it. Okay. It probably doesn't cost anything, or it costs very little to file for it. So go do it. And in the meantime, every time he leaves the house, consider changing the locks. One thing that I've seen work really well is one of my former clients, actually, when the person went to work, had everybody come over and move all this person's crap into a storage locker, mailed the key or drop the key off at the office with a note that says, you don't live here anymore. Here's all your crap. Pay this within a month or it's going to be repossessed. And then they just literally changed the locks on their door and wouldn't let the person in. Problem is, if in your state there's such a thing as a legal residency issue, then you have, if they choose to call the police and complain, then you might have to let them back in, and that would suck. So my suggestion is find out what the deal is with the law in your area, whether you're in the United States or elsewhere. What's the law? Find out and make it work for you. Athena, thoughts?
I agree with everything you said, and I love the tactic of moving everything out and putting it in a storage locker and then delivering the key. That's amazing. The only thing I would add is if this person is on the lease with you, and I would contact your landlord if you're not the owner and you both rent from someone, and I would let the owner know what's going on and that you would like to remove this person from the lease, and they might ask you for proof of financial competency. And you can bring with you, when you talk to the landlord, your pay stubs proving that you can pay the rent without this person and that this person is a toxic person. And if they require that you get a restraining order, then get a restraining order. If they don't require you get a restraining order, then all the better. But the only thing I would add to the lock change, which I have a client right now that has, the other person came and redid the locks after they changed the locks. They hired their own locksmith. And so what they had to do was buy bolts, the bolts that go on the inside.
Dead bolts, yes.
Dead bolts that are like the industrial strength kind. And then the security screen door that is like the kind that has like the non-reversible bolts that goes into the stucco of the building. And it's got the deadbolt, and like they don't have the key. And then like the bolts on the actual hard door. I know that it sounds like a lot. This can get expensive, you guys, but that type of stuff does work. The bolts worked. The bolts worked.
Things to think about. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Jen Archer says, yeah, he's trying to start this cycle over. Mine took 6 weeks to call. Don't answer, don't respond, change your number. That was in response to a hoovering question earlier. Let's see here. Yeah, Kit Kat. Valerie says his supply is getting boring, or having an opinion, anything like that. Yeah, absolutely. That was the hoover. The husband that was the ex-husband that was hoovering and using this against the new supply. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay.
Can I comment on that just for 1 second?
Absolutely. Yes.
So I know that we're dealing with a situation where the kids are involved in all of that. If you go gray rock and you are just as uninteresting as possible while maintaining the fact that you guys are sort of parallel parenting type of a situation, if you're uninteresting and the new supply is not interesting, then he's going to move on to someone new. He just will.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. This is a great question. And I know I've missed a few, but I want to make sure that I touch on this one because this actually continues on Amanda's question. This is Amanda. Her narcissist has absolutely nothing. And she says, he lives at my house, has no job, no income, and just picks all day before work, after work. I want him out, but I can't find a way to do it without calling the cops. Okay, girl, let's talk. Let's get creative, shall we? What does this dude like to do? Could you send him on a guy's weekend? Could you, send him down to the store? Anything you can get him out of the house to do for more than a few hours, that'll give you enough time. Be prepared. Have a group ready to go. Get all his crap packed up and take it out and do the whole thing. I'm telling you. Somebody like that, if he has nothing, he's not gonna, maybe he'll go to the police, but if he does, and you might have to let him in, but already be in the process of evicting him if necessary. You know what I mean? But send him away for something. Act like it's a gift to him, and then just have everything locked and don't be there when he gets back. Tape the key to the door, man. really. I know that sounds manipulative, but he's obviously giving you very little choice here. And if you don't want to, even where I live, even if you call the cops, if he's been there more than 90 days and can prove it, he has legal residency. So you're going to have to go through the process. If he hasn't been there 90 days, call the cops. What's the problem? That's my suggestion. But I want to hear what Athena thinks, if she wants to add anything to that really quick.
Well, I agree with what you're saying. If this is a person with highly pronounced narcissistic traits and they do feel entitled to sit around doing nothing, and they feel entitled to just suck the life out of you, and they are being psychologically abusive, and there are all the things that come along with narcissistic abuse. And this isn't just some loser dude that, is like just not nice. You get to choose, right? You get to choose whether someone is just some loser dude that you don't want to be with anymore and they're just not nice, or is this someone who is abusive? It doesn't matter what the degree is. You get to choose who you spend time with. You don't have to spend time with this person.
Especially when you're paying all the bills, girl.
Yeah, you're paying all the bills. And let me just tell you right now, like, you deserve someone who, again, there's the question of reciprocity. Is the relationship a two-way street? And it sounds like there may be a follow-up question to this, which is, I feel so bad. Am I just a horrible person for kicking him out because he has nothing? Like, I feel terrible. Like, where's he going to go? I mean, what if he's going to end up homeless? What if he tells me he's going to kill himself? Like, that's the kind of thing that comes up a lot.
They do sometimes tell you that.
They do tell you that sometimes. Mm-hmm. And what's important if you're dealing with something like that is document. Get as much in text message as you can. And if they're not texting you and they're having these conversations, record it if you can. There is a nifty little app that you can get on your phone. There's a little red recorder right there. It's called the Quick Voice Pro or something. Is that what it? Yeah, Quick Voice Pro. And record those conversations. And if none of that works and you feel duplicitous doing that, then get yourself one of those 50-cent composition books and start writing the date and what it is that happened, and just be documenting that. And just cover your back.
Absolutely. Yeah. One thing I want to just state, just for your own sake, check the laws where you live. Some places it's illegal to record someone for any reason. Some places it's legal. If one party knows, just check your state or your area, the laws where you live.
And don't do anything I tell you to do unless, like, you already checked your laws. I would feel bad if I led you in a wrong direction.
And that's a great point that she made, but just be careful with the recording thing. But I agree. Even if you don't do the notebook thing, even if you get on Evernote on your phone and you just like type that stuff down or screenshot stuff.
Yeah. Or even like the notes app, right? Like the where is it? Like the yellow notes app right there. Like you can use the little yellow notes app.
Yeah.
And it will date it for you. Just cover yourself. Yeah. Whatever you do, cover yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is a great question. So this is from Jade Naylor, who says, this is a great question. Why do we as empaths get blamed for putting up with abusive narcissists? I've heard families say negative things like calling me dumb for not seeing it. Okay. This is a really, really great question because I get this. This happened to me. Ironically, the narcissist, my original narcissist, complaining about my first choice of husband, who was also a narcissist, just a different type, ironically. Anyway, they do that because they want you to feel bad about yourself, because they want to be like, oh, Jay Naylor just doesn't know anything about anything. You know what I'm saying? Jay Naylor's just so blah, blah, blah. They invalidate you. That's just what they're invalidating us as empaths. They're invalidating us as people. The purpose of family doing that is so that, number one, they can remove any personal responsibility. Number two, they have something to complain about. They love to complain and feel bad about things. And number three, because, sometimes they use it as I'm such a good parent and I feel so bad. Oh, or whatever. So that Jay can't seem to get it right. Oh, I just don't know what to do. And then all their friends feel sorry for them or whatever. Or, worse, it's about invalidation. Ultimately, it's about invalidation, not seeing you as a real whole individual person, seeing you as an extension of themselves on some level, and taking you down a notch so that you won't ever feel confident enough to even think about having a healthy relationship, because all you believe you can get is unhealthy. Because what they're doing is they're reinforcing their own toxic, what's that narrative that they've created for you. So break out of that. Just be like, well, yep, I made a mistake because I didn't know back then. Guess what? I made that mistake a whole bunch of times. Athena made that mistake a bunch of times. Everybody in this chat at some point or another made the mistake of thinking that somebody who was very toxic was a nice person and worth our time. We all did it. And so none of us are stupid. We're intelligent people who understand people, y'all. So what we have to recognize is that why we get blamed is because maybe they don't want us to see who they are. Maybe they just want to, the reasons are really irrelevant, but it's about, I think, ultimately invalidation. So what you have to do is don't let people in your inner circle who don't understand your truth and who deny your truth, period. Athena, please, what are your thoughts?
I agree wholeheartedly about not letting people in your inner circle who invalidate you. That's like seriously just boundaries 101, period. We have to be able to find a way to feel safe in our bodies. Mm-hmm. And we have to find a way to establish and maintain healthy boundaries with 100% of the toxic people in our lives. And to answer the question of why do we get blamed by other people, my answer is similar to Angie's. However, I would add this. I believe, depending on how toxic the people in the family are, I believe they incur a narcissistic injury and they project feelings that feel icky to them onto you immediately so that they have a scapegoat, because they have zero distress tolerance skills. Narcissists have zero distress tolerance skills. Which again, like Angie says, toddlers have zero distress tolerance. That's why you see them throw their toys and stomp and scream and faces and turn red in the face and hold their breath and act crazy. Yes. Because they don't have distress tolerance skills. And so in that moment, when they decide to flip the script and blame you, I believe if you were to slow down the shot, if there was an actual way to go slow-mo on what it is that just went down, you would see the flash of rage and you would see the moment in which they flip the script and they can't tolerate what's in them and they scapegoat it. They project it onto you because they will not be able to tolerate the pain that they had anything to do with anything that isn't something that they love, that they like. It feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And on that same note, you see that anytime, if you think about it and you think about the most toxic people in your life, what has happened when you've had a moment where you just really couldn't take one more shoe on your head? What does a narcissist do to you? They stomp on it. They stomp on you. Like if somebody dies who you were very close to and you feel devastated, instead of like supporting you like a normal person, what they'll do is they'll like complain about that your house is a mess, or they'll complain about the way you did your hair today. They'll just pick at you and make you focus on them. And the same thing, like if you happen to be getting married and they're not getting enough attention, it's your mother, or say, and she has to ruin your wedding day because it has to be all about her and her drama. You see what Athena said in all of those circumstances when you're down and they kick you. And these are supposed to be your most supportive people. I mean, that's why you have to be really tight with that inner circle. That's a very good point. Thank you so much.
You have to have that inner circle, and we can be your inner circle if you have no other inner circle. Sometimes our very best beginning stages of inner circles do happen virtually. And then we practice online in safe environments like this. Yep. And then when we feel strong enough, we go out in our daily lives where we live and with the people around us. And we show up just a little bit stronger. We stand a little bit taller. We feel more confident because you have, 50,000 of us hanging out in this room potentially. And we're all like, yeah, did you see that? Like when you mentioned the wedding day, you cannot make this up. My father and my mother divorced, but both sitting at the same table, made it all about them. My dad was like, ew, I don't want to sit next to her. Like, if I were to go grab the picture, which I don't have it hanging up on my wall, because why would I? But
Right.
you will see the wedding photo. And my father is standing way out away from everybody else because he doesn't want to stand next to my mom, like a 4-year-old. No, I don't want to stand next to that person. Don't touch me. Like, I mean, he almost fell off the stage where the head table was on my wedding day because he didn't want to sit next to my mother. I mean, you can't make this up, you guys. It has to be all about them. And my mother, of course, just, I can't even. So you guys are going to see patterns. You're going to see the way they can't tolerate anything that is all about you, whether it's you grieving and that's all about you because you've lost your pet or a loved one, or if it's you being happy, it can't be all about you. They need to interrupt it. They need to shift the energy. Or my favorite covert narcissistic tactic, when they have no other thing they can possibly do to you, they will wait for you to speak and they will do the classic covert narcissist attack, and they'll go, covert narcissistic tactic, and they'll go, huh? What? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Ooh, I hate that one. Yes.
Why? Because they can control the whole room by saying, what? You're not talking, because you're not talking loud enough, right? Because something's wrong with you. Right. So as often as possible, if they have no other tactic, the ace in the pocket is, what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say? Just so they'll make you speak again. Ooh, that gets me.
Yeah.
Ooh, that gets me. That just like 0 to 10,000 bitch mode. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse on your channel.
It's okay. I totally am with you though. That's legit. And I've experienced that. Yeah. And sometimes it's not even that nice. Sometimes it's, what did you say? You know, they get angry almost and you feel like, you know, yeah.
Speak up.
It's ridiculous. Listen, this is why we do what we do, because this is literally, it's almost like they all have the same playbook. It's almost like they're all the same pod people. It's like they're sent here to test us, but really they are who they are, and we just have to accept it.
I calls them love expanders.
Yeah, right. I see them as limited people. When you can begin to see them as not powerful, not as owning you, not as in any way, shape, or form being better than you, see them as little, small, limited people. That is what they are. They cannot see outside of their own, you know, world. I know a lot of people who, especially with the covert types, they say, oh, so-and-so lives in their own little world. Sometimes, like, let's say if their name is Audrey, and I'm saying that because I'm looking through my light here and I see Audrey Hepburn on my wall. So that's a safe one to say. She lives in Audrey world. People who know them say things like that. And it's really, really funny. If you think about how similar they all are, it really is.
Yeah, but you will see the flash of narcissistic rage in the moment before they start to blame you for everything to answer your question. You will, if you were to slow-mo it, if you had the ability to slow-mo real life, you would be able to see that they cannot tolerate the moment of whatever it is that's going on with you. Or they're just invalidating you. They just want to invalidate you because they don't want, they're heavily vested in you not being a truth teller. They don't want you talking about this for whatever reason. And so they'll try to divert, they'll try to do the sleight of hand and get you to pay attention to something else. And so they'll blame you for it and tell you that you should have known better. You should have known better. And it's like, don't woulda, shoulda, coulda me all over the place. Like, I don't need this right now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Carlita Vega says, I let him pick up my son yesterday, but I told him not to feed him dinner. I made a big Sunday dinner. He said, that's okay. But I took him to IHOP anyway. Now, she said, that's the end of his games. No, from now on. Now, I don't know if you've seen the Carlita Vega story. Athena,
I haven't watched that video yet. It's on my list of like watch later.
Yeah, it's a long one, but it's a good watch.
For sure.
Yeah, she has been through it with this person. And so you're absolutely right. The end of the game's no from now on. So this is why we stick to, when we're talking about custody, shared custody with a narcissist, Carlita's giving us a great example. This is why we stick to the rules. Whatever those papers say, whatever the agreement is, never go outside of it, even if it feels like, it's not a big deal. Because just like she points out here, so you guys, some people might be like, well, big deal, so he didn't eat big Sunday dinner. That's not the point. The point is, this is one step. She gave him an inch, he took a mile. She gave him a little extra visitation. He was like, well, let me just ruin the Sunday dinner for the whole family, whatever.
Why not?
So, yeah, it's a great example. Anyway, so good for you, Carly, to stay strong, my friend. We're almost out of time, you guys. Actually, we're probably are out of time. So I'm going to just really quick. By the way, Nargis really identified with what you said about doing more than she's supposed to do at work. So thank you for sharing that. She said she's trying to help them out so they don't bully. So Nargis, now you know. Knowledge is power, sister. Don't forget.
It will never work. You'll never be able to do enough. They will, even if you were the perfect employee, they will find a way to scapegoat you because it's what they do. Just self-preservation. Only do what's asked of you and do it well.
Yes, absolutely. And Sam says he's so glad to be hearing us talk about this because he's having issues with this at work right now too. And basically the issue is putting a big deal at risk of sinking. So Sam was glad to hear that. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Yep. Now, Amanda says these are all good ideas. It's just a matter of actually doing it. She starts feeling bad. Ding, ding. You got her already. You're right. It's not your problem. Not your problem. Not your problem. Don't forget. We already talked about that. We're going to move on because we're out of time right now. Everybody, this has been... They like the psychodialer term. Hello, Rhonda Lindsay.
You never want to offend anyone, but I mean, when they psychodial you, they psychodial you. That's what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Those of you, I'm seeing some people saying I don't have any support. Seriously, for Facebook groups. Athena has Facebook groups. Athena, who do they email to talk about your Facebook groups?
Oh, if you want to get plugged into a free Facebook group, you can email Lisa at cptsdfoundation.org. And we have several different groups. We have groups for men who are healing right alongside other men, and women are involved in that group as well. We have women-only groups where if you want to come heal alongside other women, we have LGBTQI groups. We have a group that is, I believe, co-ed as well, that's for narcissistic abuse. And then those are free. And then 365 days a year, I do daily calls. And if you go to cptsdfoundation.org and you click on daily calls, you learn all about that. And that's a subscription. That's not free. But it's free. Just email Lisa at cptsdfoundation.org. And I know you have an amazing, huge SPANily group that I'm in as often as I can be.
Yes. We have a great group with SPAN, and you go to queenbeing.com/SPAN to follow the directions to get in. Make sure you answer the questions. The moderators do vet every single person that goes through. We have an amazing team of admins over there, as well as here on this channel. Only a couple of them are crossover between both, but we do have a team that is trained and that checks and knows what to look for. And we do our very best to keep the group entirely safe, as big as it is. That's why we have a large team of admins who are always in communication with one another, as well as with the group. It's a really good thing. So queenbeing.com/SPAN. There are lots of other options at queenbeing.com. If you go to queenbeing.com and right on the front page, hit start here, it'll walk you through a lot of the freebies that we offer, give you the free email situation, the free downloads, the free courses, all the things. Check all that stuff out. We are all about providing community, both Athena and myself. And she kind of, we touch on the family stuff here because a lot of us came out of these families, but we focus a lot also on the relationship stuff because a lot of us are dealing with that over here. Over on Athena's channel, she's focusing on the childhood trauma stuff and recovering from that. And she has a lot of other specialty areas that YouTube doesn't let us talk about right now. So check out cptsdfoundation.org and check her out on Facebook as well, because we can't talk about some things here, but those are really, really important things for us to get through.
I don't want to get anything demonetized because I have been running my channel for 4 years and I've never made a penny. because of the channel. And so if you're living with any type of CSA acronym, if you survived CSA, it's a safe, I have safe places, very strict vetting process. It's very safe. You will never be exploited or abused or bullied. There's never any unkindness that's allowed. And it's a safe place to come heal. So
going through that is a special circumstance, just regular, not that there's such a thing as regular child abuse, but non-private child abuse. We're just going to say it. I'm just going to do it. Sexual abuse. If you suffered sexual abuse as a child, Athena has the space that you can heal from that trauma. She is knowledgeable about it. She has resources for you. And as she said, very safe places there. If you've gone through that, this is a really important thing that I want you guys to hear. People email me sometimes. Sometimes I don't have a chance to email people back, or I miss emails because I get so many. So I'm saying it now. If you have been abused as a child in a sexual abuse situation, I don't care who it was. If it happened to you as a child, Athena's your girl. She's your girl. She knows about it. She understands it. She's an expert. She can help you.
I'm a survivor.
And she's a survivor.
I survived being horrifically abused in many ways, sexually as well. And I was exploited by my family, traded for goods and services, trafficked. Not something that is super easy to heal from, but I am proof that you can heal. You can heal.
You can.
It takes a lot of work. Like Angie says, it's uncomfortable. Like, to say the least, it's uncomfortable. But you guys, it's possible and it's worth it. And we have an amazing community of other people who are all survivors. And many of them are now mental health professionals, running organizations. They're CEOs, they're actors, actresses, singers, songwriters, performers, artists. I mean, you name it. So anyway, thank you so much, Angie. I hope I don't get you demonetized. Please don't demonetize us, YouTube. Please.
They're gonna, but it's okay. It's worth it to me. It's important that people know where these resources are. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going to even make my chances worse at this point. But the thing is that the fact that some people in the world do dumb things on YouTube is stifling these important messages. And that's why I thought, you know what, you guys need to know. And some people might not know what CSA means. That's why I just said, forget about it. Okay. Because it is important information. And I do not have the resources in place to support everybody who needs that kind of support. Doesn't mean you have to leave the SPANily, y'all. Stay in the SPANily because we're all together. Athena's in the SPANily. You know,
I am in the SPANily.
Yeah. You know,
it's not an or, it's an and.
That's right. That's right. You can be in both. And we want you to be in both, because what we're trying to do here is create a larger community. That Dana and I, every single week, we do live streams together for the same reason, because we know our communities, mine and Dana's communities are pretty similar. Mine and Athena's communities overlap. And so those of you who have these, especially the sexual abuse, but also any childhood trauma, that's what she does. And she's really good at it. Listen, I'm telling you. Okay. So make sure you're in all these groups that fit for you. The SPANily is a great place to start. Athena's groups, depending on what your specific issue is, you can get in a different group. If you're not comfortable with people of the same sex or people of the opposite sex, you can be in a single sex group. She's got all of that set up. So know that and think about it and be in both of our groups. It's all good, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Email Lisa at cptsdfoundation.org, and she'll let her know that you saw this video and that you would like to heal in a Facebook community.
Yes.
Thank you, Angie, so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have to do this again so we can tell people about the Parenting in 2020 and the self-care cruise.
Yes. Oh, okay. So really quick, Athena and I are working on a book together called Parenting in 2020. Tell them about the book really quick.
Okay. So Parenting in 2020 was birthed on kind of a brainstorming call that Angie and I had together. And we believe that we can actually eradicate complex trauma, CPTSD symptoms, if we start at the source, which is educating parents. And so we believe, since we both have successfully broken the cycle of intergenerational family abuse. As both of us being moms, and our children will never know what we knew. They will never know the pain that we knew. And since we broke that cycle, our future grandbabies will never know the pain that we knew. And so we believe that if we work towards eradicating complex trauma and adverse childhood experiences, which if you were to type in ACEs, ACES, you'd be able to find this huge organization. There, I mean, it's science-based, research-based studies all about adverse childhood experiences and how they shorten your life expectancy by 50%. And it's just, I mean, everything, autoimmune disease, cancer, heart disease, you name it, diabetes, high blood pressure, all of it is all related to adverse childhood experiences. So Angie and I are partnering in a project that will launch before Christmas of 2019. So in a little over a year from now. And Parenting in 2020 is not only about parenting in the year 2020, but the fact that we can all, and everybody always says, you know, hindsight's 2020, you know, we can look at the mistakes we made as parents. Even though we broke the cycle, we made mistakes. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to just, it's our opportunity to pass on like, hey, we screwed this up and this up and this up. But if we could do it over again, we would do it this way. And then in addition to that, like you can change the next generation and the one after that and the one after that. So is that a good explanation?
I think it is. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And not to be confused with anything that's being talked about in SPAN right now, but the September 2019 self-care cruise that Athena is hosting. Tell us about that.
Well, Angie will be teaching on healing from toxic relationship abuse and how to create a life you love from an entrepreneurial perspective and just in healthy relationships in general on a cruise ship 1 year from today. And I'll be teaching on healthy boundaries, safe people. We have another teacher that's going to be coming on teaching all about anxiety and how anxiety can trick us into sort of feeling certain ways on any given day or every day. And then we have another teacher that's coming on. You guys are all familiar with all these YouTubers, by the way. It's not just Angie and myself, it's other YouTubers as well.
Hey.
And, she'll be speaking on codependency and healing any type of relationship wounds that we have been carrying around with us if we find ourselves repeating patterns in our lives. And so that is going to be on a cruise ship called the Freedom. And I thought it was so cool that the ship was called Freedom. It's so awesome. And it is from September 8th to the 15th, 2019. And we will have more information. We'll probably end up doing more videos like this just to tell you guys about it and invite you, because you can do like a payment plan where like you build up to be able to actually go, and then all your expenses are covered. Once you're on that payment plan, everything's covered. All your meals, all your workshop materials, your notebooks, everything, all the classes, everything. All you got to do is show up. And so it's going to
be really good.
It's going to be amazing. I've never done anything on this magnitude in my entire professional career. And so I am over the moon about the self-care cruise. So
very exciting.
Yeah. Thank you
I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, Angie, we're flying Angie, and like, it's going to be all like Angie's a VIP. So it's going to be incredible. I'm so excited.
I've never had a VIP experience like that before. So I'm super psyched about that. That's great. Yeah. Well, okay. One time I did, but
we're going to live it up. It's going to be amazing.
So fun. So fun. So exciting. I can't wait. Okay. As we're getting ready to wrap up, I just thought that was a fun thing to share with you guys too, for those of you who weren't over on Athena's channel earlier. I want to share with you an amazing, by the way, hello, no more Evil and Natasha. I didn't get to say hello to you yet. And LJ, hello. And okay, this is what I have to put out. What Kitty Cat Katie just said. She said, we are strong to be here together. We are strong to keep moving forward and heal our inner self, our light, and know that love we wish for, we already have it. And that's so true. It's right here, y'all. It's right here. And it's here. Right?
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. So Isn't beautifully and perfectly put.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect. Yeah. Perfect way to end tonight. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much. It is, 10:58 p.m. I really should be asleep right now. But I'm so glad that I came in and I did this with you and with Athena. I even told her before we started over on her channel earlier, I was like, nah, well, maybe we shouldn't do our channel tonight. And she's like, come on. I'm like, okay. No, really, she gave me plenty of chances to back out because she respects my boundaries. But I was,
boundaries.
She does. She was like, now listen, don't forget boundaries. but I'm glad we did this. I feel great. So thank you so much, Athena, for being here. Thank you for having me over there. Get used to her beautiful face, you guys, because she's going to be back. All right. And don't forget, go over and subscribe to her channel. She's got some really great insight for you as well over there. All right.
Thank you all so much. This is amazing. What an incredible experience.
Indeed. Thank you so much for being here, Athena. And I cannot wait till our next collaboration.
Awesome.
All right. Everybody, thank you as always for being a part of my day and a part of my life. Thank you for letting me be a part of yours. As always, you're never alone. You've always got your SPANily, and we see you soon. See you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.